How worried are you with Jacksonville barely escaping, with Kansas City barely escaping and Patrick's injury, that you believe this is going to transpire into the next game?
Oh, for me, I'm definitely concerned about the Chiefs going into the AFC Championship game where they'll go up against the Bengals. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. There was a very good chance that Jacksonville could have won this game. There were opportunities that Jacksonville squandered, especially in that fourth quarter, that could have flipped the entire complexion of the game. And as far as I see it, you know, with Patrick Mahomes going down with that ankle injury, that high ankle sprain, I think they have a pretty uphill battle going up against the Bengals. Not this weekend, but obviously the upcoming weekend for the AFC Championship game. I thought the Chiefs kind of looked out of sorts, especially after Patrick's injury. I mean, to be fair, that kind of expected just because when your starting quarterback goes down and you have a backup fill in, there's a chance that the offense really isn't going to be as consistent or they're going to be out of rhythm to a certain extent. And I will give credit. Chad Henne stepped in and was able to lead a touchdown drive for KC in Patrick's absence when he was getting treatment for his ankle on the sideline. But when Patrick came back into the fold, you could tell he was definitely hindered. And the one thing that Patrick is always known for is being able to extend plays with his legs or his feet and really just providing the magic that he brings game in and game out. And I mean, to a certain extent, Casey's offense has really feasted off of defenses that way because Patrick is just somebody that can just find ways to improvise in the moment and really make some magical plays for that KC offense. And when he's limited to just a pocket passer, he does kind of struggle. And it was kind of indicative of that second half performance against Jacksonville's defense. I thought the Jags defense made some solid stops against that KC offense in that second half. Granted, KC was still able to lead a touchdown drive with Patrick at the helm. I believe that one touchdown drive was capped off by a touchdown pass to Marcus Valdes-Scantling that extended KC's lead 27-17. But you could tell that just the offense just wasn't in rhythm based off of Patrick's injury. Now, another thing that we have to kind of keep in mind here is whether or not that Patrick is even going to play in that Bengals game when we reach the AFC Championship game. We're talking a high ankle sprain. I mean, depending on the severity, high ankle sprains can take 6 to 8 weeks to recover. And I understand that Patrick came back in the game despite having that high ankle sprain. But if I had to guess, when he woke up Sunday morning, the day after that game, I guarantee you he was definitely feeling it. It wouldn't surprise me if he was on crutches. I didn't hear anything about a walking boot, so that's a little bit of maybe a sigh of relief for Casey going into next week. But I'm still of the mindset that it's going to be shaky for KC, even if he's in, because I think at best he might be 75% if he's good to go in that game. And I'm saying that KC may have to have a contingency plan set in place where Chad Henne's going to be the starter. And that's definitely going to be an uphill battle for KC because if anybody had watched the Bengals game where they just essentially dismantled the Bills, that's going to be a tough challenge for a backup quarterback going up against that defense. So Casey's in a little bit of a difficult spot here. I mean, on a panic meter from, one being not panicked at all to 10, just outright panic, I'm definitely around a 7 or an 8 with this one. So I think Casey's got a pretty significant situation with Patrick's status going into this week, and we'll monitor it throughout the week. But as of right now, fortunate for them, they did advance to the AFC Championship game, their fifth in a row. That's definitely something to be commended. But they're definitely going to be hindered going into this AFC Championship game for sure. If Patrick's not going to be able to go in this game because of that high ankle sprain, Chiefs are going to be in some trouble, and they may even be in trouble if he's on the field in that limited capacity. So, all in all, good for them advancing to the AFC Championship game, but they definitely have a tough road ahead when they go up against Joe Burrow and the Bengals next week. So, Kev, the floor is yours on this one.
Dude, let's be honest. That injury happened. Everybody in Kansas City freaked out. All fans across the NFL were like, there's no way this is happening. Because remember, I forget what year it was. Pat left one of the games. I think it was against Cleveland a few years back where he had to exit the game and Chad Henne had to finish it out. And people were skeptical about him being available for that next game, which I believe was the AFC championship of that season. Now it's like history's finding its way to repeat itself, right? Jacksonville finds a way to get competitive. Obviously, they end up, unfortunately, Patrick Mahomes gets injured, and Jacksonville smells blood in the water. They're not able to capitalize. James Agnew fumbles, and from that point on, it kind of was just on and on and on in terms of mistakes, miscues. You can see the inexperience here. Trevor Lawrence throws an interception on the next possession, so it's kind of just like Jacksonville kind of stepped on themselves every opportunity they really had. So again, that's like I said at the beginning, I give them credit. They 130% overachieved this season as a team. And the fact that they were able to take Kansas City to this point is a win in and of itself. I know we don't do moral victories here, nor should you ever in a lot of situations. But for a team that got to a place they shouldn't have been, this is something they can build off of. This is something that you can look forward to next season and say, we were this close to beating probably the best team in football. Who's to say we can't beat them next year or be in the same position, if not farther, the season after? So, in terms of the Chiefs, as Kyle already alluded to, Chad Henne did what he needed to do as a backup. He didn't turn the ball over. He got the ball downfield, and he found a way to score. Point blank, period. That's what you need to do. That's what the NFL is about, next man up. Now, when it comes to preparing for Patrick Mahomes versus Chad Henne, everybody knows that's light years of a difference. Kansas City is going to have to change that playbook if he doesn't play. They're not going to be able to have the fluidity of the offense like Patrick Mahomes is able to command. I know that Andy Reid can coach anybody, but you know that obviously having Patrick Mahomes under center makes you 100 times better than Chad Henne, and that's no disrespect. It's just fact. In terms of the ankle, dude, if I'm Pat, knowing how bad it's going to be, knowing how bad a high ankle sprain can be, I know it's the AFC Championship. Dude, if you mess that up worse, if you get rolled up on, if you roll it just trying to sprint to the sideline, you're already hindering your team by being on the field, and you're at a 60% capacity of availability, 50%, whatever he's going to be, whether you shoot him up with cortisone, painkillers, whatever it is. You have, like I said about Tua a couple weeks ago, I know concussions and ankle sprains are different, but it's the player health is the most important thing for me. Kyle already said, depending on the severity of the high ankle sprain, it could be anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks, if not longer. Irv Smith, the tight end for the Vikings, had a high ankle sprain. He was out 8 to 12 weeks. You're talking about a game that's supposed to take place on Sunday? So he's only going to get 8 days of rest? Because obviously they played Saturday. They don't play again until Sunday night, Sunday evening of next week. Dude, I know that's going to be endless around-the-clock treatment, ice baths, treatment, massages, electrostim, everything you can possibly think of, but will he be ready? I don't think so. And if he is, personally, I'm not giving any predictions. I just think that favors Cincinnati no matter what, whether he plays or he doesn't. A limited, hindered, non-mobile Patrick Mahomes, like Kyle said, a Patrick Mahomes stuck in the pocket, not the same quarterback at all. I would say that Cincinnati needs to pay attention here, and they have to say, you don't want to play a team weekend. You want to be able to look back at the resume and say we beat the best of the best. But in terms of preparing, you got to prepare as if he's going to be there, because if he's not, I mean, at least you're prepared for Patrick Mahomes. You get Chad Henne, you should be fine. But yeah, no, Kansas City definitely squeaked by this one, and I think that they should definitely be paying attention because that defense was exposed in a couple of different facets on specific drives with Trevor Lawrence at the helm. When you're going up against Joseph Burrow, it's gonna be a tall task, and if Kansas City falls yet again, Joe Burrow's slowly creeping up and climbing the totem pole. He's already passed Josh Allen, in my opinion, but we'll get into that in a couple minutes. But yeah, no, Kansas City is definitely in immediate panic mode right now.